Adventures of Superman, issue number 3. The story of Jon Kent continues as he sweeps his way through the multiverse, or as I like to call it, it's just Tom Taylor talking about things he's done before. And that's fine. That's comic books. If you've written something before, write it again so nobody else gets to touch it. I am 100% on board with that kind of a concept. Do that. Don't let anybody else touch your creation. You want to go back to the Injustice universe? You go back to the Injustice universe. Don't let anybody tell you no. Just do it. You do it forever. I'm here for it. Because that's what we're doing, folks. We're going back to Injustice. It's been a while. I didn't read all of Taylor's Injustice comic book stuff. I know it strayed further away from the game and made itself into its own thing, and that's a great idea, something that it should do. And it's just kind of like, whatever, it's fine. And then now we're back, and we see that the Superman of this Earth is talking to the Wonder Woman of this Earth. She's like, you need to be careful. I know he looks like you and has her eyes, but you cannot trust this kid. You do not know him. But it's okay. This new boy is being looked after by somebody that Clark trusts more than anybody. It's Luthor, and John wakes up in a weird hospital room. Just like, okay, what's going on? It's like, hey, don't worry, kid. You're okay. You're safe. A lot of power dispersed from you. You're like a solar battery. You like used up all your charge. Don't understand how it happened, but it did. What's your name, by the way? You look like you're stronger than Superman. You have his symbol. So, like, who are you? It's like, my name's John. Oh, you're named after Clark's father. It's like, oh, how do you know? Yeah, well, I know Clark. I know how all this goes. It's working pretty well. And that is when Clark walks in, and he's like, okay, cool, you're awake. Here, put this on. It's your shirt. Why don't we talk about what just happened? It's like, you killed Ultraman. He's like, I did kill Ultraman. I fought an Ultraman before. I wish I didn't have to kill him, but I understand how it's going. I lost you, and I lost your mother. This entire time, the Superman of this Earth is referring to John as, like, his own son. Because he's a terribly creepy dude, and that makes sense for this character, that he's going to look at this kid and be like, you're mine. You're the thing I never had, but now you're here, so you're mine. I own you. And I do like that. That works so much for this version of Superman. And if I'm being honest, my biggest problem with the Injustice games and the storyline is that Superman breaks from something so minor. I know it's the death of Lois and his son, but my Superman, and what I've always said is like that's just going to inspire him to do more as opposed to completely break and become a tyrant. But it's an Elseworld story. It's a character that doesn't get used a lot, except for the people that only see that version as what a Superman should be. So when he's acting a little bit weird, it's okay. I can get behind it. I'm just glad this isn't how Superman is normally portrayed, because I don't really dig it. I don't like it that much. But you see, they want to kind of like communicate about like what's going on, and they want to save, his friends that were sent to the Phantom Zone. But before that, there's a detector that goes off. The Flash shows up, and he's like, yo, so there was like a thing that went down in Gotham and Star City. We should go deal with it. Damian's already on the scene. And that's when John's like, oh, Damian's here? There's a Damian in this world? Crazy. And we see that John wants to go help, but Clark's like, you should stay here and just be safe. Okay, we'll be back soon. But John can't just sit still while something bad's happening. So we cut to Gotham, and we see that Damian fighting some people. His dad shows up because, of course, he's against his daddy. And we don't spend too much time with this Bruce, but we just see them. They scrap for a little bit. You also see that John shows up. He's like, Damian, stop. What are you doing? Don't fight him like this. You don't know any of this damage. Like, John just showing up like, well, clearly Batman's the sane person, and Damian's acting like a goofball. But of course that's wrong. So they fight for a bit, but Batman gets away, and Damian tries to stop him from doing anything crazy. Batman evades, and the rest of this team shows up. So Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash return. They're like, John, you shouldn't have stepped in. You don't understand what's going on here. This Damian still acting like Damian, yelling at John like, who is this kid? What's he doing here? Getting a little snippy with it, so that Damian just storms off in anger. And that is where Clark reveals, like, yeah, there's a lot of backstory. If you haven't read the Injustice stuff, that I'll explain to you briefly, where it's like, Dick Grayson died, Bruce blamed Damian, blah, blah, blah. They hate each other. You get it? It works. So then we see that John and Clark go fly into the sky just to be like, I had a couple years where I was kind of an evil dictator, but now I'm trying to do the right thing, trying to change the world for the better. We're fixing the climate crisis. We've helped people overthrow dictators. Like, we're doing the right thing now. And it's kind of fun. It's nice being the good guy again. It's a nice thing to see. And this scene I really like, where you see that Clark wants to show this version of his son like the world he built. And Jon's like, I would like to see it alone. And you just see Clark's like, yep, okay, sure, I understand. We don't have anything to hide, so just take a minute, go see what we did. If you don't believe that I did something this grand, it's okay. It's kind of like, it's the thing that the Superman always thought he could do, but realized it's not his place to intervene like that. Now he's trying to tell Jon, like, this could be the world you build too. You just have to try and strive for it. Maybe he will, who knows? But Diana's like, you're gonna let this strange kid just wander around the world without any intervention? Like, that's not a good idea, but Clark trusts him. He's a good kid. But Diana's like, that's not your son. Quit acting like it's your son, you psychopath. But we see Jon's just flying about. He hears somebody screaming a baby fell out of a patio? What did it fall off of? I don't understand how that happened. I guess it climbed up on the rails and just fell down. So he catches the baby and returns it to the mother. And when the mother realizes that it's a Superman that saved him, that she's like, oh, it won't happen again, I promise. And she goes back inside in fear. And that is when Clark shows up. He's like, hey, what do you think? We did some good stuff here, right? Made a huge difference. But Jon sees through the facade. He's like, oh, yeah, the world's quiet and it's peaceful, and that's because everyone's holding their breath. They think, like, if they make a noise, things are going to go bad because they are scared of this tyrant that was a tyrant, and now he says he's not a tyrant, which I think I would be more scared of personally if, like, okay, say, like, a Superman existed in this world, and he took over, and then your whole life changed, and then years later, after he did, like, his whole regime, he suddenly is like, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to let you people decide, but he's still going to actively participate in the events of what's happening. And you just have to be like, okay, what are you doing here, sir? Like, you're helping me, but like last week you were going to kill me? That'd be more terrifying to me than just being in a dictator, like a dystopian dictatorship with a Superman. Just knowing he's still there thinking he's helping, I'd be too afraid to step out of line. That's a great idea, and that's where the book ends. And it's like, uh-oh, is Jon gonna go against his injustice daddy? Probably. And that's a good idea. I mean, why not? This guy's a little bit of a freak. Again, not my favorite interpretation of Superman, so if he's gonna get his comeuppance, I'm here for it. This issue went by really fast, and it's fine. It definitely feels like, well, we had an idea for Jon, and I guess it's a fun concept to see other versions of his family and friends, but it doesn't feel like he is having a characterization that is pushing through on these scenes. He's very reactive, and we don't see like the internal reaction, just the outwards reaction. I think it's fine. I don't know. I do like the book, and I'm glad it's just like a quick, easy, breezy read where I'm like, yeah, there we go. He's doing the thing. There's Injustice Superman being freaky. That's nice. It's easy. I dig that. But I don't know. I think out of all the Dawn of DC books, this one is not my favorite. So, Adventures of Superman, Jon Kent, issue number 3, I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.